Bienvenido, damas y caballeros. Welcome back to Freeform Radio on that Freeform Network. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook and X at Freeform Network. Send in those questions and suggestions, ffnquestions at gmail.com. But again, for Freeform Radio, my name is Daniel. With us today, Andy.
Oh, good. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Uh, yeah, let's get this thing going.
And we have Noel.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Doing my best here. I'm a little bit tired after celebrating last night, but we're gonna rock and roll today.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Yeah, man. It's we've been on a run where all three of us are here. Sometimes we record with just a duel, but yeah, the trio's been together for the last, I would say, dozen at least. But yeah, episode 270. Let's get it going. Andy, start us off. Michael Jackson movie, man. This is something that I'm actually interested in watching, the biopic that's out. Give us your thoughts on it, man.
No, I mean, there's a lot of hype around it. There's a lot of social media people on social media are talking about it. So there's a lot of hype. I do want to check it out. There's been a lot of multiple trailers released, and now that the movie's out, there's a lot of people sharing screens and doing comparisons to some of the things that he did to the movie, and it looks decent. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys saw the trailers, and I think there's stuff about his dad and the family. So that's the whole thing, how deep they're gonna go into it. But based off the trailers and all that, is this something that you guys want to see?
Not quite sure, man. I'm on the fence. I might watch it eventually, but it's not something I wanted to see in theaters per se. I have liked some of the other biopics though. The Freddie Mercury one, that one was interesting. I still haven't seen the Springsteen one. I think they made two possibly. Um, I think one with Taron Eger and the other one with the guy from Shameless. So I
Yeah, the
might.
guy from Shameless is the one. I think it came out in the fall, and I don't think it did too good.
That's exactly why I'm like, I don't know, man. To watch it in the theaters, probably not, but eventually one day I'll watch this.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't know if I want to watch it at the theaters, but I am interested in watching this. Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5, they've had some really good documentaries. I think VH1 was a really good one, and there's been like two or three good ones. Not as many as Elvis's documentary, but Michael Jackson's had quite a few. This one, I think it's his nephew, if I remember hearing the
Yeah.
publicity for it, one of his nephews, and it sounds like the family's involved. So I'm just wondering how much of it is going to be, shelter, protect Michael, and how much is it going to be real? Is it going to be behind the scenes, things that we didn't know because the family is involved? Or is it going to be more just the good stuff? They don't want a McMahon documentary. They want something a little more positive spin. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It is uh, 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 the Jackson estate, I guess I want to call it. They are backing it, so there's gonna be some I call it Hollywood stuff. I don't know. It's getting some. I know the critics are kind of shitting on it, but the fans are really responding to it. There's stuff on social media where people are like having Michael Jackson people dancing and stuff. It's like nuts. I like movies like this. I like movies, biopic movies. I like them a lot. The Jacksons, like Dan said, there's been a lot of stuff. They had a mini series, I think, in the late '90s that I love. The Jacksons, an American Family or Dream or something. It was on VH1 a lot, and I like how they portray Michael Jackson's dad, Joseph. They all called him Joseph. They didn't call him dad, which to me was like, whoa. And like he used to just he was a strong disciplinarian or father figure, and so a lot of people, I think that was their first uh way they saw Joseph. So we just know it from Gary. He was a steel worker from based off of that miniseries, and he whooped that ass when they got out of line. And Michael later on, when he would do those interviews with the guy from Britain and Oprah, he would talk about how he was afraid of his dad. And in the movie, there's already clips out of how he let his father go and stop being his manager and some other stuff. There's just some you're gonna see some insider stuff, I guess, that's gonna come out. The other one I like recently, like talking about biopic movies real quick, is like I haven't seen the whole thing, but the Whitney one was pretty interesting. They really hyped up the relationship with her and Clive Davis and stuff like that. And then I saw the new edition one that BET did. They did a mini series on that. That one was good too. They had a rough upbringing, how they grew up poor. Um, the Springsteen, I do kind of want to see that. Um, these are movies, not documentaries, so I like that shit. And I think there was one, and back in the day I liked a lot too, was the Beach Boys had one that ABC made. Uh, it was another mini series, and how the dad was like kind of controlling in the same way, and he had a strong grip on the boys. So, you know, I read somewhere they want to make, I don't want to say a trilogy, but they definitely want to make a sequel because I think this one is doing pretty good, and I do want to kind of see it in the theater because whatever you say about Michael Jackson, he's iconic, and he is up there in pop culture and in in American lore worldwide. Like he had everything. He had, Thriller and Jackson. This guy's been in show business forever. Uh, and he's had video games. He's been he had a ride in Disney World. He's been in movies and merchandise and sold records and uh so he's up there. And towards the end of his life is controversial for some of the stuff that came out against him. And I think that's what Danny's like, well, how are they going to portray all that? And I don't think they're really going to talk about it. Uh, Maybe in the next one, but we'll see. Um,
Yeah, to
and
me,
there's
even when I'm in the car listening to music, like uh Robert R. Kelly. I was gonna call him Robert Kelly, but it's the same. R. Kelly. Uh, I can't listen to his stuff anymore, man.
Oh, I can.
The
Yeah, he
jams
can
come
sing.
up. And
Yeah.
no, yeah, he's got some good jams. That's why I was bringing up the Michael Jackson comparison. I can't hear it no more, man, because he was, abusing kids, and it's known, and he's been accused, and he's been found guilty. So it's difficult. Puff Daddy, I could still listen to
Yeah.
Puff Daddy, but because they were all consenting adults, even though he was an animal from what I don't think he's been committed or found guilty. I'm not sure. Um, and Michael Jackson, we were like a year or two ago, me and Alana were watching that documentary, Neverland or whatever it was
Yeah, that
called.
one's kind of rough to watch. Yeah.
And it was really rough, man. We didn't even get through the first episode where
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
like, we can't watch this, man. This is too brutal. And it's like you said, Andy, man, he's got so many great hits, man. He's got so much iconic music that it's difficult, man, because I he was an artist of my time, and yeah, it kind of sucks
Before our
to
time,
not
I mean,
to not be able to listen to him. Yeah.
he started singing like in the 60s, right? Like as a child, like I mean,
Hmm.
as I don't want to say a toddler, but he was touring like at 5 years old, 6 years old or something, working his way up. And he's talked about his childhood. He never had a childhood, and he saw a lot of messed up as things as a kid that you should never see because you don't know what's going on. And not that he was he needed a lot mentally. I think it kind of like he just didn't know how to process it. As a kid. You're not gonna know because you're not supposed to be seeing that. So some of the things, the way he came up, yeah, is he's talked about it, and yeah, it's messed up. But musically, yeah, like R. Kelly, yeah, man, uh, homie can sing, dude. I know. I forgot what he got prosecuted for. Diddy is I never liked Diddy, but I think he went to jail for transporting stuff, if I remember correctly, across state lines. But yeah, he I think people never forgave him for beating the crap out of his ex-wife or whatever. And then music is riddled with all this stuff with controversy and people under the age and all that. So um to make it to that level, you got to sacrifice a lot, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But I want to see it. I'm gonna try to see it in the theater. This one, I feel like I want to see it because I haven't been to the theater in a while, and I feel like this movie should be up there in the theater. The other thing I really want to talk about quick is WrestleMania. As this recording, it's been a week. There wasn't a lot of big build-up for it. The ticket sales showed that, but I think people were upset with the pricing on the tickets and how expensive it is now. Like, what isn't expensive, right? But uh, it's just the personal appearances and all that, and the autographs, and they have the convention. It's 2 nights. They had to bring Cena out to be the host the first Saturday night. Now it's like this thing on social media, like, oh, you're a Saturday night WrestleMania guy, right? That's like a bad thing. You want to be on the Sunday night show, and it's becoming bad thing. And but the main event for the Lesnar thing, there's controversy on how that ending, and how all that went. And to be honest with you, I watched some of the Saturday night. It was not good. People weren't into it. The crowd wasn't into it. It was just like a letdown. And the second night was a little better. The main event, the Punk Reigns, that's actually wanted to see, and it wasn't let down. It wasn't a letdown for me, but that's about it. And then like the rest of the show was kind of forgettable. I remember watching the other match I wanted to see was Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor. It was just it was okay, man. I thought it was gonna be better. The rest of the stuff Sunday night I really don't remember. I don't know if you guys got to see it at all or any thoughts on it or saw highlights of it.
Yeah, for me, the Saturday, uh, I could not get my device to work that would let me watch things like this. So Saturday, I just saw the highlights the next morning, the good, the bad, and the stuff like that. So I watched that. Didn't look like I missed much. And then the Sunday, I was able to get the device working, but it was only letting me watch the ESPN channel stuff because I guess after like the first hour, they went into the app or Netflix
It's like a
International.
tier
Yeah,
subscription.
and that one I couldn't get anywhere on this device. So I'm like, all right, I guess I can't see the second half anywhere. So I kind of gave up. But as far as the first half, yeah, the Penta match was pretty good. The ladder match, I
Mm.
enjoyed that. But yeah, I got to see some of the highlights. Seemed interesting. I'm not a CM Punk fan right now. I think he's kind of an asshole and arrogant. So I'm kind of glad he lost. But yeah, no, I didn't feel either way with the event. But I don't watch wrestling as much as I used to.
Noel, any thoughts, or did you see it, or you didn't even know what happened?
I saw it in a couple of headlines and like YouTube videos and stuff, but it's been a long time since I've been into wrestling. It's just the people in it right now don't really. it doesn't captivate me at all, man.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just different era.
that's they don't they got like a few superstars, but they haven't crossed over to the mainstream. And like I said, I think Lesnar and Punk are kind of almost there, but Lesnar or Punk kind of fell off, and Lesnar's fallen off. And the whole thing with his retirement, he retired. It was an opening match. He gets pinned, and he just retires. And now there's all this backstage stuff about how they wanted him to lose to this guy that's been retiring, beating all these legends to Gunther, and he didn't do that. And now there's controversy saying that he told them he wanted to retire, and they wanted to retire him at SummerSlam, lose to Gunther. And once he said that, like, I ain't doing that. I'm gonna lose tonight to this guy, and I'm done. And there's people pissed off about it. So to me, that was like the like an example of like, what the hell is this? Like, this doesn't make sense. And all I know is Vince was around. That probably could have been avoided. It may have handled a little better, but it is what it is. And then the Punk, the other one, like I said, it was just not drawing the WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania is what sells right now. It used to sell market WrestleMania to people, and now that's not working. So now you need those superstars, like Noel says. Is like, I kind of know of it, but I don't know who's on it, so I'm good. And but if you had people who cross over pop culture, mainstream, that's who the TKO is trying to bring over. And I think that's where they kind of they're lacking superstars, as Vince used to call it. In some way, TKO is also, I think, with UFC. Everybody knows UFC, but I think they're lacking some superstars too, some crossover people. Hence, what's going on with UFC right now too. It's just a lot of people ain't crossing over.
In my opinion, I think if they brought over like real people with like a real edge, like some UFC fighters or MMA fighters, doesn't have to be UFC, it could be Bellator because they got rid of a lot of fighters. Get
Hmm.
like people with like willing to take real damage. Not that they should, right? But like willing to not be so prima donna, fancy boy. You know what I mean? Like they're all cookie cutter now. It's just there's a couple cool
Yeah,
standouts. Cody Rhodes, he's kind of cool.
yeah,
Um,
he's
you
okay.
know, and when what's the other guy's name? I'm blanking on it. I haven't watched in a while, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're lacking that, and like they now that TKO owns both UFC, and they did bring in some UFC people, but they brought in announcers. They didn't bring in fighters, and I'm just like, that's because to me it's like I said, they don't have a big superstar, or they don't want to pay. I don't know the deal, but and it was in Vegas. That's basically UFC's hometown. Um, But yeah, let's change it up. Let's go to Noel here. Looks like he's been playing some PS5, not PC. He says he beat Kenna Bridge of Spirits. What's that about?
Yeah, man, this one was a pretty interesting game. I originally bought it because it looked like it would be something that my niece would be into, and she was like starting to get into games and stuff around this time. So it's essentially about this girl who's a spirit guide, and she uses magical abilities to help the recently deceased to move on to the spirit world. And it's a third person game. You play as Kina or Kenna, I'm not quite sure the pronunciation. Um, and you have like the staff that has this way of attacking enemies and doing this like pulse magic that it's just like got a lot of cool different mechanics and stuff. And essentially you have these little spirit companions known as Rot, and they help to either complete puzzles and find enemies and find things to destroy or clear up because the world has become overrun with this like negative I don't know how to describe like a negative force that
Energy.
takes yeah, kind of like a negative energy that takes the form of like these like pustules and fungus and like just it's like rotting just trash like that overcomes the nature, like the beautiful nature that's around, because you're essentially walking around in like a jungle, forest, waterfalls, and it's like a very beautiful artistic game. And your goal is to try to figure out how this happened, why it got so bad, and it essentially is tied to spirits that have not been able to pass on. They're holding back, I guess, unresolved issues and stuff, and corrupted in a way. So you're almost kind of like a Shinigami, or kind of like a, well, a spirit guide. You're like the Reaper, and you're
Hmm.
trying to help him cross. So it's got a cool story to it, and it's just like I said, the art is awesome, and with those little like rotting things, it's like a cute little, almost like a Furby type character. Like it's not,
Furby.
it doesn't look like Furby, but it's like one of those cute little characters. I just knew my niece would love it, and she ended up like wanting to play every time, dude. She'd come over and visit, like, let's play more of this, or Astrobot. Those are the two games that she would really like, you know, cycle through. But since this has a story, I'm like, let's keep playing this and finish it. And Kina 2 is coming out later this year, so she was like, yeah, we gotta get through this. And so I let her play, and like she's getting really good at it, man. I was like, dang, dude, this is a good stepping or starting point for her to get into games and learn different mechanics, and how to do double jumps correctly and time it right, how to shoot arrows and aim it, and how to, just combine different mechanics, the blocking, the dodging, everything. So it's a really cool starting game for kids, I would say, and it's even for adults. It's got an interesting enough story that it keeps you intrigued for the good amount of hours that we play it. I would say it's probably like a 10 to 15 hour game, depending on how much you explore and all that. But yeah, I would give this like an 8 out of 10, man. I really enjoyed it. And there's a lot of cool different mechanics that I've never really done anywhere else, and it's really cool art style. Kind of reminds me of like either Chinese or Japanese. It's got like an Asian style and folklore to it. So you kind of get like the best of all sorts of different stuff that I'm not really used to seeing. So yeah.
Yeah, to me, I saw this game when it first came out. It didn't look like a big budget, like let me pay full price kind of game, but it did look really beautiful. It's got a lot of like particle effects and a lot of the, just the transitions of the weapons and the specials looked really cool. Looked really a lot of good eye candy as far as the appearance. But yeah, it did look like a shorter game, so it was definitely one of those that I'm like, all right, when this hits the bargain bins, I think I'm gonna pick it up to play it because it did look interesting. So you said it was good, so it's good, man. I'll have to probably pick this up. I'm sure by now I could probably find it for 25 bucks. So just gotta keep an eye out for a good sale and pick this up.
Yeah, if I go to the website, I want to say it's full price right now. Definitely wait until it's on sale. I would say it's worth 20 bucks
Right.
at this point. It's a good solid game. And yeah, I would say it's definitely over 10 hours. But again, we weren't rushing, and by any means, I was letting my niece play, and she was like exploring and stuff. And then whenever it got too hard and she just kept dying, I would be like, all right, let me get you through this part. So, but
Right.
yeah, yeah, I think you guys would like it, man, if you give it a chance. And yeah, so that's one game that I've beaten recently, and it's been a minute, so it's kind of cool to start getting back into some games here. But switching it up here to a movie I actually just saw it yesterday. I was celebrating my birthday, and I went out to the theater, and I watched Lee Cronin's The Mummy. So this one just recently came out, I think about a week ago, or by the time this drops, it'll be like 3 weeks old, I guess. Um, yeah, Lee Cronin's The Mummy. It's an interesting, really good horror movie that is not as faithful an adaptation of the old original Mummy. So it's kind of divided in terms of the critical reception and the fan reception. Right now it sits at a 6.4 out of 10, 13,000 votes. Um, Metascore is pretty low, but I think Rotten Tomatoes got it at a good, yeah. No, Rotten Tomatoes is 46. Fandango's got it at 75. So it's divided. Some people wanted to see a more actiony movie, I think, kind of like Brendan Fraser's version of Mummy, or maybe something more like the Tom Cruise one. This is not like any of those. This is not even like the original one with Boris Karloff. This is this is its own thing. It's kind of a mixture of Evil Dead, a mixture of a movie that is called Where Evil Lurks, which is like demon possession taking over a town and just causing all sorts of chaos and disaster. And it's kind of a mixture of that combined with like Egyptian folklore. This is considered a folk horror movie, and so it deals with like a demon within the Egyptian lore, right? Ancient Egyptian stuff. So it's like a 3,000-year-old demon that is constantly being transferred, generation after generation, being transferred to a new host and entombed or encased in this sarcophagus and wrapped up in these bandages that seal in this demonic power and force that, if it's let loose, is going to corrupt the people around and just cause all sorts of mayhem and just it's just insane, dude. It's a very grotesque, graphic, and body horror type movie. Um, a lot of blood, a lot of gore. When we were in the theater, dude, there was these like girls on the left of us. I went with my cousin as well. We went to Marcus in Addison. It's a theater we've been going to since we were kids. And these girls that are on the left of us, I could see out of my peripheral, they were just like shrieking and moving and constantly like just like hiding behind they had like a blanket or whatever, so they were hiding behind it, like they couldn't deal with what was happening on screen because it was so graphic, until the point where at one point, I'm not gonna spoil a lot in terms of the story, but there's I could just
It's
tell
okay.
you I could just tell you there's a part where they're peeling away their skin and they're just tearing like piece after piece after piece of skin off. And the girl's like, "Yep, out of here." They got up, her and her mom just walked out of the theater, and me and his mom were kind of like laughing about it. Because yeah, it is one of those that only a true like horror fan that's like a veteran of horror movies watching can get through this kind of thing. It's very tough to watch in terms of the grotesqueness of it, and especially if you're a parent, because the person that is initially, I guess, kind of sacrificed or used to contain the mummy or to contain the demon is a little girl. And one of the cutest little girls, man. It starts off the movie with this little girl, probably about 7, 8 years old or whatever. And she's just very bright, intelligent, very positive and everything. And then it just goes downhill from there. And man, this poor little girl went through just crazy amounts of stuff, dude. And not only her, but her family, right? Like they all suffer as a result of it. And I'm not going to spoil too much, but yeah, I do think if you're a fan of horror, definitely watch it. But just be aware that yeah, it's going to tug at your heartstrings a little bit. Um, if you at all care about, the little girl and her family. So.
I got two questions. So these people that left the movie, how far into the movie was it? And what time period does this movie happen in, or what are they depicting? It sounds like it's pretty modern age time instead of like ancient Egyptian.
So what's cool is it has a feel like it's an like older period, but it actually is modern because they have smartphones. Because I was wondering that myself at a certain point. I'm like, the cars look old, but you're in Spain, right? You're in
Mm.
Egypt, then you're in Spain, then you're, just different areas throughout the movie. But throughout the whole time, the cars and the environment look old because yeah, Egypt is old, Spain is old. So the architecture and the cars and just even like the lights and the inside of the house and the doors and everything is like, it's hard for me to really tell how old it is because we're in America, so we have like everything modern. It's just a certain aesthetic we're used to. And so looking at that, it was like, until I saw the smartphone, I'm like, I don't know what year this is, man. Is this the 80s, 70s, like older? But no, it's modern. They have smartphones and they have computers and stuff like that. But in Egypt, the computer technology is like, I mean, it's like bare bones, man. They don't have anything like what we have, big screens or nothing. It definitely had a cool feel where it was like ambiguous in terms of the time period. aside from seeing a smartphone. That was the only clue to tell. Um, and what was your other question?
But how far into the movie did the lady leave? Because to me, movies are expensive nowadays. If I'm dropping $30, we're
Yeah.
not leaving. I don't care what's going on in this movie. We're sitting here and we're watching it.
Yeah. No, it was 60% of the way through because there was still
Okay.
the back third.
Oh man, no way. If Alana was being squeamish, I'd be like, no, hang on. Hang on. We're not going anywhere.
Dude, she tried, man. That she was a trooper. I could see she was like squirming and just like moving around, and I could see it in my peripheral. And Ismail was telling me because he was the one that was closer to her, I could just see her from like the corner of my eye, but he could see her a lot better because it was right next to him. And he was like, "Yeah, man, she just kept moving around, hiding behind the covers, and like there was times where she would like jump scared, and then at one, like I said, that point where she's peeling off the skin, the girl's just like, nope. She wrapped up her blanket. Her and her mom just got up and they walked out. And there was still like another, 20, 30 minutes of it. So yeah, it was kind of early.
Dang.
But yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of horror, man, I do recommend you watch it at some point. I already pre-ordered the 4K Steelbook. That's how much I liked it. So yeah, it'll be
I,
coming in
I
soon.
I'm not a super fan of really gory stuff. I don't mind horror, Jason kills, stuff like that. But if it's like over the top, like just for the sake of the shock value, that kind of turns me off a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know if I would be able to watch it. I don't know if I would leave like this lady, but I definitely probably wouldn't like it as much.
Yeah, with the way movies, the economics and all that now, it's pretty hard. I'm with Dan. I mean, like you're pod committed. You got to stay. I think the last movie I walked out of was in the 90s. Like, and it was just bad. I remember it to this fucking day. It's Aspen Extreme. We went, it was us and family. It was me and my cousins. Uh, and I was just like, why am I watching? I remember in the theater, I'm like, this is horrible. Like, and I was like in junior high or something. And I'm like, why are we here? Like, this movie sucks, balls. And I remember like I got up and they're like my cousin was like, where you going? I'm going to the arcade, like fuck this. And then I was just the rest of the movie just at the arcade playing video games or some shit in the theater because that movie was just brutal. I think I saw it on cable like a couple years after and I watched the end of it. I'm like, this is bad. It was just it was between like late 80s, 90s, like movies where the 90s, like if it was, yeah, it was just bad. Like I can't even explain it. It was just like this tail end, you're the tail end of the 80s where they're still making movies like this, but the 90s you're expecting a little bit more like real shit. And it was like fake, but they're trying to be real. I don't know. It was just not good. And it was like a skiing movie with snowboarding or some goofy shit. And it was bad. And I remember
Yeah.
walking out, I'm like, I'll play video games the rest of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens, man. I don't know if I've ever walked out of a movie. I don't think I have. Um, yeah, even the worst movie I ever saw in theaters, I didn't walk out of, and it was because it was one of the first IMAX 3D movies. I remember going with Afrin and Ismail as well, and we thought it was gonna be a horror movie. It was like Haunted Castle or something like that. We're like, all right, Haunted Castle, that's a horror movie, right? Yeah, it's an opera movie, and there's this guy singing, and you're like, it's like a simulator. You're like going through this mansion of castle, and it's like a ride of like a Disney theme park kind of thing. We're on a roller coaster and it's taking you through this whole castle, and the whole time this guy is singing opera music. And it was like an hour long and it was in 3D, but at the end of it, I couldn't tell you, there was no story. It was like, what the hell did I just watch kind of thing. And yeah.
The the last movie was kind of like that. Uh, I think it was me, you, and Dave, Danny. We went to see Mortal Kombat. You remember that, Dan? The first
The
original one.
the first
And
original.
yeah, and I remember watching it. I'm just like, this movie's bad. The only decent, there was a couple good fight scenes, and I remember like I'm not interested in any of this. and then the sequel wasn't better. I remember watching that at the house. Then they remade them right recently, and I think they're releasing the sequel like this summer. And there's a guy at work telling me, "Oh no, it's better. It's gonna be better." And I'm just like, "Dude, they all suck." And like, not a good suck. Maybe a good suck, but yeah. And then I saw the trailer. I'm like, it's just gonna be disappointing. And like they were hyping up the Street Fighter movie too. I don't know if you saw they remade that. The first one was bad with Van Damme, and this one they got Cody Rhodes is playing Guile. And I just saw a clip. I saw the trailer. I'm like, this looks fucking horrible. Like this would should be like straight to fucking video, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever we want to do. It does not look good to me. They got the music, they got everything right. It looks brutal. Like visually, it just looks bad.
Yeah, it's one of those, man. It like depends who you ask, right? Like for me and you, we've seen so many movies that yeah, like we're gonna think it's cheesy and just bad. But for somebody that just like, for example, Efren, who just mainly plays games and stuff, watches movies here and there, he doesn't really expect much from a movie. So he saw the trailer and he's hyped up for it, man. But same thing with Masters of the
For the Street
Universe,
Fighter
like
or the Mortal Kombat?
for all of them.
Okay.
Mortal, because
Mm.
he was asking me yesterday, we were talking about him, and he was like, Mortal Kombat, he's hyped for, Street Fighter, he's hyped for, Masters of the Universe, he's hyped for. So it's like these movies that, yeah, like, yeah, certain people, they're like, they're not into it, but you ask the right person, it's their jam.
Right. No, I agree, man. I think Mortal Kombat, the first one, it has that B movie greatness.
Yeah.
So not a good movie, but a B movie good. And yeah, part two, three, four, all the rest after that, the first
There
run,
was even a TV
those are
show about it. Yeah.
those are not great. Yeah, those are not
Yeah,
great.
they're not good. Yeah.
But the remake, the one that they just made maybe about 5, 6 years ago, that one is really good. That's a good
Okay.
movie. And I'm excited for the second one, Street Fighter. See what how it is. My expectations are kind of low because I think that hair really takes me out of it. It's just too weird. I think it's too faithful to the movie or to the art game. I think they should have modernized it a little bit just so that it doesn't look so cartoony. So like Sonic movie ugly kind of, I don't know. It just looks bad.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough to do it, but anyway, man, that's enough of my stuff here. Let's switch it over to you, Daniel. And actually, I'm curious to see what you thought about this because I have not seen it, and it is horror related, so I feel like I gotta get your opinion on it. I know what you did last summer, 2025, man. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, yeah. I watched this like a week or two ago. It was okay, man. I like the movies, even though they're really repetitive, same thing over and over again. How many times can this sailor guy in this sailor outfit with a hook come back and try to kill these people? I definitely don't think he's up there with the likes of Jason, Freddy Krueger, even that Hellraiser guy. I don't think he fits into that
Pinhead?
Pinhead, yeah. So I don't think he's on that Mount Rushmore with those guys, but I still liked the last what you did last summer movies. Um, when I was younger because of the women, and even
Jennifer Love Hewitt?
yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt and that Buffy chick, she was in it, or at
Mm.
least in the first one. So yeah, I've liked it because of that. And when I heard they were coming back after all these years, I was just like, oh, interesting. And it had Jennifer Love Hewitt, and then it had that lead male character. I forget what his name is, but I know he's kind of famous in movies as well. Uh, so I was interested in watching it, watched it. It was okay. Definitely modernized. Those two original characters were just in the background. They just kind of filled in some of the storyline, but it was definitely a new. I know what you did last summer for this day and age with a new group of kids going through their own bullshit where we just graduated, let's go have fun and be reckless, and then somebody dies, and then it just starts a cycle again. So kind of the same thing. Interesting, modern, but just not that great of a movie. And the original ones were not that great either. But yes, kind of fun just watching the nostalgia come back with the original characters. They do play somewhat of a role in there, so they're not just like little cameos in the background. They actually do play a role. It's not like the Ghostbusters where they bring in the OG Ghostbusters and they're just at the very end, like just so they could do a little cameo stint. They actually do play a part in this movie. So not great, but okay to watch. I would recommend it for people that are fans of I Know What You Did Last Summer. You mentioned you have not watched this, Noel?
No, actually, I did watch the original though recently, and so
Okay.
that's why I was like, ah, maybe I'll watch this one next. But yeah, so yeah, I guess it's worth checking out at least.
Yeah, for sure. I think if you're a fan, I think it'll hold your interest, but not that great of a movie. And Jennifer Love Hewitt, man, oh, it's kind of brutal now. I think I mean, I guess you look at me, man, I don't look like I used
I
to in
think
high
she's
school
aged
either.
well.
Yes, not bad, not bad, but she definitely does not look like her high school.
Of course, no, yeah.
Yeah, so time has caught up to all us all, Andy.
Also, she appeared in the movie. It's a
Yeah, yeah.
sequel to the original
Oh
ones from
yeah,
like
yeah.
20 years ago. Oh, I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah,
was like
yeah.
a remake.
No, 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 no. It follows the timeline. So
Oh,
there's been like three or four of them. I can't remember how
I
many. At
didn't
least
know that. Yeah,
at
I just
least three of them.
remember. I know you're talking about sequels. I thought they only made one sequel. I don't know they made more than another than more than one.
I want to say they made three,
I think
maybe four.
so, because I
Yeah.
remember there was one on an island.
Yes, I think
What?
that's part two with Beyond no Brandy. I was gonna say Beyonce, but no, it was Brandy.
Oh, Brandy.
Yeah,
Yes,
Brandy
yeah. I
was in
kind
that
of.
one.
Yes.
And then
Yeah. That's.
a
Go ahead.
very young Jack Smith or what the hell is that guy's name? The goofball that's in all the movies now from Tenacious D. He was in it too.
Oh, Kyle Black or
Jack
Um,
Black?
Jack Black.
Jack
Jack
Black.
Black.
There you go. Jack Smith.
It's,
Dude,
it,
I'm getting really bad with names now, man. It might be like early signs of dementia. I don't really know, but man, these names are like really eluding me. The last podcast, I was trying to remember some guy's name, and it was my brain racked for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, this is great podcasting. Me stumbling, trying to remember somebody's name, and I just gave up. But
well, that's why Hollywood is. They keep they're running out of ideas, and they're hoping for people like you. Then, like he's not gonna remember the other ones,
right, the
so
other
he'll
stories,
rewatch it. He might remember the actress's name, and he'll rewatch it. Well, I just
probably.
remember from that they created uh, the Wayans brothers movies, which they're redoing the
Yeah.
spoofs, right? They made fun of
Yes.
that big time.
Scary movie or whatever it
Scary
was.
movie, yeah.
Right.
I'm having a bad name with yeah, and they just keep cranking them out and like they keep remaking stuff. Um, yeah, I mean it's just like I like nostalgia, like maybe, but like the Scream ones, like they're coming out. I do not want to watch that. I have, and I think for the last one, they brought back like the reporter and Arquette and all these guys, and I'm just like, they're just trying to get people back then. They used to go to the movies all the time to come and watch this. Because I did remember watching Scream in the theater because of they announced Drew Barrymore, and I remember when she got killed instantly. I'm just like, what the hell is like, what's going on here? But yeah, I mean,
Spoilers, Andy.
yeah, I think that movie's like 30 years old. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah, man, I don't know, like Mortal Kombat, like all this stuff, like yeah, it's hard. They just keep cranking out the same crap. So I'm shocked that you kind of like it. So I mean, you like what you like. I know you guys love horror. I'll watch a couple things, but those movies, the Scream movies, I'd rather rewatch something else.
No, for sure. It's not the greatest. It's good. That's about what rating I would give it. It's
Yeah,
good.
it's for your genre. I mean, you're not expecting like this classic Oscar-winning thing, but for people of that genre, like yeah, this is it. They did a good job, basically, what you're saying. It kept you entertained.
Right, right. But something else that was really entertaining. I was really into, and I want to get your thoughts, Andy, because I'm not sure if you even got a chance to watch it. We haven't spoken much about it, but Hulk Hogan, the Real American, the new Netflix documentary. It's a four-part hour long each episode documentary. They kind of split it up a little bit, where it's like the rise of Hulkamania, and then the scandals and the downfall, and then Hulk Hogan versus Terry Bollea is one of the episodes. And so they kind of break it down a little bit, kind of showing a little bit of the history, about how he became, show a little bit of his family. The other really cool thing about this, I guess just a quick before I get more into it, Andy, have you seen it at all?
I saw the first two episodes.
Okay.
So the
I,
rise, then the Hulkamania, and I haven't gotten to Hollywood Hogan or whatever.
okay. All right. Because yeah, either way, I don't want to give too much of it, but since you saw the first two episodes, what I thought was super cool was a lot of the home videos that
Yeah,
I presume Linda
yes.
provided them or
I was
something.
thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, this is a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that you just wouldn't see, where it shows Hogan's parents' house. It shows a lot of footage of him growing up.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
intriguing too. Yeah.
and then I think it's in part three or four, they show more of the kids. So they show more of Brooke and Nick, and show more of them being kids with Hogan at the house as they're raising up the kids. So they show a lot of home videos of that. Really interesting stuff. But either way, the documentary I thought was very well put together. I think Hogan was pretty candid in most cases, maybe not 100%, because I'm sure if he was, it would be seen in a negative light. Like the whole thing with him saying the remarks that he did about Brooke's boyfriend. He's got to spin it in a positive way, even though at the time he probably was angry because him and Brooke have had an on and off good relationship, bad relationship as a father and daughter. So I think the documentary is somewhat real, where he does delve into some of his substance abuse, a lot of the surgeries and the events of him dropping that leg bomb for years, and some of the toll
Wow.
that it took on his body and stuff. So I think a lot of the people that are in the know of that, but maybe some of the more mainstream people didn't know about that. But how he needs assistance to walk around, the last few years, it looked really sad. It kind of reminds me of like when I see Bruce the Barber Beefcake at signing events, and you see this guy and he's, kind of in a walker kind of thing because he's struggling to even get around. I remember the first time I saw like George the Anvil Neidhart, just walking around in walkers and stuff. And I'm just like, man, these guys are really beat up. But back to the Hogan documentary, really well put together. I think they really showed a lot. They had some good, interesting people in there. Triple H. They even had some audio clips from Vince McMahon. They never showed him, but they put some audio clips of Brooke as well. Nick was involved in the documentary. Linda, like we mentioned. So really cool documentary. I really enjoyed it. Alana even watched it and got to see things that she didn't know about. From your little bit that you've seen for the first two episodes, Andy, what are your top level thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, Hogan was he was kind of candid. I mean, some of the stuff I knew. The only thing I didn't, two things that gave me a lot of insight was just based off on the interviews, what kind of woman Linda is.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
just hearing her talk and the way she talks and how she carries herself, it was that was new to me. I mean, you would see her on when Hogan Knows Best, that reality show. She wasn't nothing like this. So obviously something, and it gave me a lot of insight and just the way in her personality is. And the second thing was the the way he about his brother. I never knew that. I never knew that he even had a brother, right? That was to me, uh, I didn't know about that at all. And when they were first talking, they're showing home videos of them as kids and the pictures of his parents and about his bigger brother, and then the way that Hogan talked about it and how that went down, I was just like, damn. And then about you could see there was uh, he didn't mourn it right, I guess, mentally, and that's why he had to stop talking about. But when they started talking about the funeral and he didn't go or there wasn't any, I don't know the full details. It wasn't, and he's like, let's just not talk about it. Like I'm not talking about this no more because yeah, that opened up a, a wound that it was never really healed, and the way he dealt with it. And that kind of smartened it up because yeah, the other thing was I mean, I always knew Hogan drank a lot, but the drug talk, he kind of admitted it. Linda talked about it, and I was just like, wow. And then that was kind of revealing. And then the whole thing, how Nick was born, that was real fucking revealing. Like, it sounds like Hogan was good with the one, and then she's like, oh, I'm pregnant. And Linda kind of talked about it. Yeah, Grandma, Mina's big mouth or something. And I'm just like, wow, like that was kind of surreal to me. I mean, Hogan was glad, but also I think, how is he gonna say, "Oh, I was pissed off when she told me"? He didn't. I think he was trying to protect Nick, but yeah, that was kind of revealing, like what kind of person, wife, woman, whatever you want to word it, Linda was.
No, for sure. Yeah. A lot of good stuff in the documentary. Very interesting. I don't want to give too much because I think a lot of it is the surprises that they kind of show, Andy. So I think you're going to enjoy the next two episodes. I know you're a Hogan fan as well, Noel, a little bit. We got to all three of us actually see him and take a picture. And when Hogan was taught, well, while people were reminiscing of Hogan and talking about him, um, I had to pause it and I had to tell Alana the story about when we went to go take the picture and how they were trying to kind of rush us out. And Hogan's like, whoa, whoa, wait, brother. He's like, we got to take a picture. I wasn't even ready. And so he stopped the whole, train of people coming through and gave us a moment, with him. So yeah, was always a really cool guy, really cool character. Glad I got to meet him the few times that I did. Um, Really quick, one last thing before we jump into our article. Andy, I'm sure you saw this with something else we didn't really even talk about. Uh, Speaking of wrestling, did you see the video where CM Punk knocked the phone out of one of those fans?
Yeah,
I guess they were at a hotel or something. It looks like a
yeah,
hotel area, and this fan is recording AJ along with Bailey because I
Baylor,
guess I guess they're hugging or something, and it looks kind of like AJ is distraught or she's kind of sad or something. So Bailey's trying to console her, hugging her, and they're having like a moment. And this fan is following them, and you can kind of see like Bailey trying to move and coordinate to get not a good view of AJ to kind of like protect her and shelter her from this camera guy. But the guy just kept following and recording, and then all of a sudden you just see CM Punk come out of nowhere and just slap the phone out of his hand. And the funny thing is that there was somebody else recording the fan recording AJ so that we get another perspective. And yeah, you could just see CM Punk just, walk really fast up to them and slap this phone out. And I guess the guy is not the fan that got the phone slapped out because I'm sure it got cracked because it hit that floor pretty hard. And from what I heard and I understood, the guy's not pressing charges. He just wants Punk to apologize, but Punk said
yeah.
he's not
Good
apologizing.
luck with that. Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
know.
just sue for money. You might get money more than the apology.
For sure. Yeah, you'd get that first before you get Punk to
Yeah,
say he's sorry. But yeah, I saw that, and like I mentioned earlier when you were talking about WrestleMania, Andy, not a huge fan of CM Punk. I think he is a punk. I think that is his real personality.
yeah,
I think he works hard to try to be friendly. He works
yes,
hard to try to be a character for the fans, but I think his natural state is him being an asshole, and I think you saw it in that
yeah.
video. What are your
It's
quick thoughts on it, Andy?
It's a gimmick, dude. Like he tries to present like I'm this guy in wrestling and like I'm a work locker room leader and people just a lot of shooting him is people shitting on him. I get the whole privacy thing, I really do. But I feel like lately more and more wrestlers are becoming vocal about fans walking up to them and and asking for autographs and pictures. And it's hard, man, especially when they're eating at restaurants. I think you shouldn't do that, but when they're walking out hotels and all this and the airports, it's depending on their mood, and I get it. Like, but that's part of being a, as Vince would say, a WWE superstar.
Right.
That's part of that. That comes with the territory, and Punk is he's notorious with the ladies, and he's always worked well with Bailey. I think it some interview he said that's his work wife. So I guess why that's he's so attached. I know Drew McIntyre complained about some of the fans. He tweeted out something they were complaining about there was a lack of security at the hotel because fans were staying there
For
and
WrestleMania.
for WrestleMania anyway. And there's been issues, but going back to CM Punk, he likes to present this thing where he's like nice and like he's respectful. But we all seen him do the opposite out there, and even at cons and appearances, you people pay big money to take pictures with them, and there's been stuff you've seen stuff where he's just there and not even smiling, and people paid money for it, and it's not the first time, it's not the last thing, and I believe TKO hasn't addressed it, and there's I think someone tweeted that there's not expected to be anything come out of it. It just it is what it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so since this guy's not really making a big deal out of it. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But yeah, eh, people like Shawn Michaels give this vibe. I even think like Ultimate Warrior to a certain point.
Yeah.
But him, I think, was more arrogance than an asshole. But man, I really want to like CM Punk. I mean, he's from Chicago, man. I really
Yeah,
want to.
believe
I
me,
really
dude.
want. I
Mm.
really want to like him. I really want to be his fan. But yeah, he's just
He
too much of an asshole.
last thing, he's had a lot of falling out with other wrestlers and uh Colt Cabana, another guy from Chicago, they're BFFs. They had a bad falling out. People in
Mhm.
AEW. He has this like he views himself as this some leader and he doesn't really demonstrate it. That the whole AEW breakup, but he chokehold that guy because, and he came out and said why he did what, but it doesn't excuse it if you're this professional and all that, and you like shitting on other people. So he like it goes both ways.
For sure. I mean, we could probably go on and on, but Andy, Noel, let's jump into our article of the week. All right, fellas. So, just a kind of funny article. Well, funny for us, but probably not too funny for these neighbors. I found this on the ABC Channel 7 news here for Chicago, but it's a story from Cali. Uh, dump truck returns debris to customer in California's yard after dispute over unpaid bill. And the other funny part about it is that there's video of like a ring cam video showing this company dumping all the debris back into the neighbor's yard. The article goes into it as well as there's a video attached to it from ABC doing the news broadcast. But apparently, um, this private company, got contracted to take debris out. I think you've done something similar, Andy, when you were trying to haul out a bunch of garbage from a house.
Hmm.
So you hire these companies, they come, they leave a dump truck there for you. You just fill it all up. Then you call them, they haul it away. You pay this fee, and it's done. So yes, this guy called, scheduled with this private company. He went to go charge them, and the payment got denied. I guess he struggled and worked with phone calls or whatever communications. They were going to pay, and he did not pay. And then I guess the needle that broke the camel's back is that he dropped off the invoice with $2 and a smiley face and said something like, "Hey, good luck," or whatever, as a payment for, I think he said something roughly about $800 that he owed
Yeah.
him to haul this garbage away. So then that's when this guy got upset and went and dumped. I'm assuming the stuff that he was scheduled to haul away and take to the junkyard, he dumped it back on the guy's yard. And now the bad part about it is I know it's kind of revenge for the company, but the guy that racked up this bill, he doesn't even live there anymore. He sold the house, and now the new owner has to deal with this garbage just laying in front of his house. So, yeah, it's kind of like yeah, get him. He didn't want to pay you, but he's not really feeling the bite of this. So, let's open it up. Noel, what are your quick thoughts to this, man? I try to work with my garbage men as well. I try not to get on their bad side because they gotta throw your garbage away. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it seems unfortunate for the neighbors that have to deal with the situation, but it also is wrong to not pay for your services, right? And I, it seems kind of petty to have dropped it all back off at this guy's like yard. There should be something for claims court, right? So I feel like that's the route they should have gone. And if the judge had given that verdict, like, yeah, you know what? They're not gonna pay, so just go ahead and drop it off, and that's a different thing. But I gotta wonder, like, dropping that much trash, is there gonna be any chemical contamination in the ground? Is there gonna be any danger or hazards and stuff? So, it's one of those things, man. It's kind of complicated.
Yeah, the article did say it was like just appliances and stuff that they weren't gonna take. So I don't know if that includes like you said, chemicals or food. So it was just like I feel like a lot of clothes and stuff that like not that it's gonna rot or anything. It's just it's an eyesore. Uh, so yeah, I mean that to me, that's why I was you. It wasn't like they were remodeling stuff. I think the guy was moving and he just dumped a lot of crap in there in that dumpster, and then they took it. And so yeah.
That I know it was quite a few years ago, Andy, but the $700 sound right? That sounded kind of expensive.
Uh, I don't know. And speaking, it was in California. I'm assuming he had to give some type of deposit. So I'm thinking like a couple $100. Because the guy did say in the article to me to go undump this and do it now, it's costing me more money. It's like a
Right,
$1,000.
right.
So I was just like, so you took this job and didn't do anything, so you're breaking even. Um, yeah, and the other thing that really in the article talks about the police were called because someone showed them, and they're like, well, technically he's not really breaking any laws, dumping all this crap there. That's for the city to come in and deal with all this crap. And yeah, so I think I think he was planning to stiff him because he was moving. So that's what I got from the article. And like always, people are like, I'm fucking moving. That I don't gotta worry about this. And then they fucking bounced.
Yeah, for sure. Um I dealt with my garbage people. I don't want to rat them out and get on their bad side here, but I had to deal with them picking up some yard waste. I knocked down a few like big bushes in the back. So there was quite a few branches, as well as this tree that was kind of leaning over into my property from my neighbor. I had spoke to my neighbor and I'm like, "Hey, do you mind if I trim back some of these branches?" He's like, "Oh yeah, go ahead, man." He's like, "Knock it down if you want to." And I'm like, "Oh, you don't mind if I knock it down?" I'm like, "I'll cut it down at the base." And he's like, "Yeah, if you're gonna do the work, I don't care." So I went and knocked his tree down because it was leaning over towards my
Hmm.
property. But then I needed to get the city to take this stuff out. So it was difficult working with the garbage company. It was a lot of back and forth. Oh, it's got to be this, and then we'll pick it up. And then I would do that, and then they're like, it would stay there for another 2 weeks. And then I would call them again and be like, hey, are you picking this up? Oh, well, we noticed you didn't do this. Can you do this now? And then it's just like, all right, well, then I did that. Then it stayed like another 2 weeks. And then finally I'm like, hey, what do I got to do to get this picked up? He's like, oh, the trucker said that you need this and this. And so I finally did that and they finally picked it up. But yeah, man, I mean, sometimes working with garbage companies or these companies I know could be a pain in the ass, but I don't suspect this was that. I think it was, like you said, Andy, this guy saw an easy way to dump stuff. He paid the deposit. He's like, all right, well, I'm out the 300 bucks. I'm not going to pay the rest because I'm moving and they'll never get me anyways.
When I bought the house where I'm living at now, there was a lot of stuff left here. When we closed, they told us, yeah, when you get there, there's gonna be like all this stuff on the driveway, but we worked with the city. They're gonna get all this picked up. So I'm like,
Mm,
ah, like a couple big pieces of furniture, like nothing crazy. When I got here after the closing, there was couches and fucking night. I'm like, what the hell? Like it was a lot, and I'm like, when the hell are they gonna pick all this up? And I think they missed the date that they told us. They showed up a couple days later, but they took everything. It was a lot of crap. I was like, damn. And I'm shocked that the city took it. I was thinking like they were gonna bring in a guy or like a
private
garbage
company.
truck or something. But yeah, the city one day we just came and it was gone. So I was like, finally. But yeah, I was kind of nervous. Like I hope this doesn't become my problem.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. When I did the closing on our house as well, same thing happened. Me and Alana came here before we went to the office where we needed to sign the 1,000 pages that you need to sign.
Hmm.
And there was two garbage cans, just normal sized garbage cans, but they were full to the brink. They were like jam packed, and they weren't the wheeling kind. It was just like ones that you need to drag out to
Yeah.
the curb to get them to throw it out. And I went to just kind of peek, being curious, like, what the hell is this shit? And it was heavy, man. There was some heavy ass barrels. And so at the closing, we're going through the closing and we're talking about, all right, did you do the final walkthrough, inspection, this and that? And then I brought up because the owner was not there. He sent his real estate
Lawyer.
agent or
Oh,
and
okay.
lawyer, and his lawyer was on the video call as well. And I'm like, yeah, I have a problem. There's garbage cans out in uh, by the fence line, and they are full and heavy. I mean, I'm talking about heavy. I'm like, is the expectations that I got to take it out to the curb because is the garbage going to come into my property and pick up these garbage cans? I was expecting the house to be clean and empty. And the real estate agent is just like, no, 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 no. We don't want to stop this process. While you guys finish reading the papers, I'm going to go to the house and I'm going to drag it out into the curb so that there's no problems. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we kept signing and signing. The guy was gone for like 15 minutes. Then he came back. He's like, all right, it's at the curb. You don't have to pull anything out and take it out to the curb. But yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Dang,
sometimes
they flexing. You
I,
want this
I
fucking money from the bank, but somebody better throw that shit out.
and I didn't even mean it like that, but I figured, is somebody gonna come pull this thing? Because I'm not gonna bust my back to pull
You're like,
this
I
thing
got a bad
out.
back.
Yeah. But I guess before we close this, man, any final thoughts, Noel? I know you don't deal too much with the garbage, but I gotta say I do miss where I used to live. That garbage, I would throw anything out into the curb and they would just take it.
Yeah, we have a decent setup. Um, Sometimes here and there it'll take a while for them to pick up. Like we just did some yard work and stuff, and there was like a lot of branches and stuff, and it was there for a week or two. But now I think they're picking up some stuff, so we haven't had too many issues like that, like what you guys went through. Um, yeah, I mean, I would say maybe we're lucky, that they typically pick up what we put out there. The only times they don't is like big, like ticket stuff, and we need a specific like label from the city for
All
them to
right.
pick those things up. And aside from that, it's been pretty smooth and good, good experience, thankfully.
Good.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that when you see it, it's funny, just seeing the the circumstance, but it does suck to be their neighbor. If that was my neighbor, like my next door neighbor, dealing with it, I wouldn't like it. Seeing that eyesore, I would almost go to my neighbor and be like, "Hey, I'll chip in and let's get this shit taken out of here, man."
Man,
Because,
Danny's that guy.
well,
Hey, you
because
can clean this
it's
shit up or what, neighbor?
yeah, because it's like I don't want to be staring at this thing for months on end and just let it sitting there. It's like crazy.
Uh,
I don't want to drag this on too much more, but when like three houses or four houses down, when that property sold because it was on sale, they sold it. The new guys came in, and the first thing they did, I don't know if they're like into roofing or what, they dropped in their front lawn like six or seven ladders. And it was there for like 3, 4 days.
should have taken one.
And I'm like, is this where they're gonna store these ladders? Just like in the front of their house? I'm like, it's like an eyesore. It's like everybody that passes by is seeing these, like, obviously used, the guy probably uses it for his construction or whatever. And I'm like, oh hell no, man. I'm like, what, this ain't no junkyard, man. You can't just leave shit in front of your lawn like that. But luckily, the guy's taking it away. I don't know where he stores it, or he probably has it on his work truck or something. But yeah, man, you do got to worry about that stuff. Being a homeowner, I'm looking at my property value. I'm like, man, this you got to keep this shit nice around here.
That guy's
Yeah.
keeping your property taxes low then because he's making your block look like shit.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, man. It's tricky too because you can't really how much control do you have over your neighbor's property, right? Like their lawn or whatever. It's only so much you can really do, but it should be kept up. I think everyone has that like basic it's like common decency, like your the basic requirement of having property like that and being in a community in a town and all that. You just take care of it, like do the minimum, cut the grass, keep it nice and tidy. Doesn't have to be all crazy, but it is what it is. You can't control their people, but do the best you can,
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
Well, anyway, guys, that wraps things up for today. We want to thank you all for joining us on the Freeform Network. If you're not already, follow us on X at FFR Podcast. And if you have any questions or suggestions for your topics, the email to drop that is ffnquestions@gmail.com. From Freeform Radio, my name is Noel, and we have Daniel.
Yes, sir, man. I'm hungry. I saw Alana making some nopales, like a nopale cold salad. Look pretty good, man. I'm excited with some tostadas. Boom, man. Let's get hit the
Mm,
spot.
There we go. And we got Andy.
It's all good, Andy. Hope you guys enjoyed the show and hit us up at ffnquestions@gmail.com to any neighbor stories or eyesore stuff. Or if you got garbage that got tipped in your driveway too, it'd be interesting to hear. The first thing I thought is this guy, the garbage guy in California, must love The Sopranos, because I remember an episode where they were dealing with this, but they were dumping like food on that guy's restaurant or something.
No, it's a crazy world out here, man. But yeah, no, actually, I have an idea for the next episode. I'm gonna try to see if I can run it by you guys and see if you're interested. I want to do kind of like this like test. There's like different challenges I've been seeing on YouTube. People do it, so we'll try it out for the next one. But for now, we wish you a great night and a beautiful tomorrow.
That was cool, Dad.